Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with some breaking news. The South wants to secede again because that went so well the first time for them. A lot of SEC Media Days news, some ACC Media Days news, and also, Ciarnan, we talked about it last week. If it wants to let me add you to the show, Ward Manuel has announced he is stepping down at the end of the year. We kind of landed on he's either incompetent or willfully covering things up. But Ciarnan, final thoughts on Ward Manuel's tenure with the Wolverines?
Yeah, certainly a mixed bag, because technically they did win a national championship, which is nothing to gawk at. But at the same time, I feel like he was covering up more scandals than he was actually helping the university move forward. But, you know, ugh.
Yeah, I was going with kind of similar, same boat as you. A lot of highs and a lot of lows. I mean, they won their first gymnastics national championship a couple years after they're hiring ex-USA gymnastics executive Rhonda Fain, who was fired due to the Larry Nassar abuse situation with U.S. gymnastics. You win the national title with Harbaugh. Then you have Connor Stallion's situation going on. Harbaugh goes to the NFL. You have Sharon Moore, a guy who was there when they won the Natty. Then you had that. You hired Juwan Howard, who was then suspended and then fired. And then you got Dusty May. You won a national title in basketball this past year. And then Dusty May leaves for the NBA. It's a lot going on for Michigan. I do think they need and we kind of said the same thing about Kyle Whittingham when he was hired. They need just that stabilizing presence to come in and go, that was a disaster. Let's never do that again.
Yeah, very much so. And it's weird that they hire these coaches after scandals that they've already had, go and win on national championship, and then have another scandal right after it, possibly of the same sport, maybe not, but like just the timeline is absolutely hilarious. Scandal, firing, national championship, firing, scandal, national championship, firing, It's like it's the wildest thing, but it worked kind of.
It's a lot. And hey, I mean, depending on which scandal you're looking at, some people would argue it was worth it.
Yeah, I suppose.
You won a national title. Now there is also kind of the joke or the phrase, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Unfortunately, Sharon Moore took that in a very different way than Harbaugh did.
Certainly.
But yeah, so maybe not as successful days ahead for Michigan, but calmer days ahead.
When we say cheating, we mean like in a game.
Like Bill Belichick.
Yeah, like Bill Belichick.
Like Connor Stallions.
Like Connor Stallions. That's what we mean. It's mostly harmless stuff. We don't mean all of the other chaos surrounding Sharon Moore and literally everyone else, apparently.
Yes, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Except in your marriage. If you're not cheating in your marriage, you are trying.
I would love to say you get a gold star for that, but that's like literally the bare minimum.
That's not trying. That's just being a decent person.
Human being.
Just trying to tie it back to the phrase. But speaking of throwbacks, Ciarnan, the South wants to rise again, as Greg Sankey is talking about SECession, leaving the NCAA. Heather Dinch has said that there is a very real possibility that happens. Kirby Smart is in favor and even said, if we can't agree on what rules are going on, I've been a huge advocate of that. I'm not afraid to break away and say that our conference is strong enough to go out and play. Ciarnan, I'm an SEC fan. I am probably going to be biased about this. What are your thoughts on the SEC potentially leaving the NCAA?
It actually makes a ton of sense for the SEC because let's be real. Apart from the Big Ten, if you didn't have the Big Ten competing with the SEC for national TV rights, media deals, all this sort of stuff, the SEC is hamstrung by other conferences. It is objectively the best sporting product out there, apart from the Big Ten and their recent success with 3 national championships. I don't really know how to explain it because the Big Ten and the Big 12, you definitely have those big games that happen all the time, but it just seems like it's the classic phrase. It matters more. It just does on there. It's a mentality thing. It's not like the Big Ten can't produce this sort of awe-inspiring football teams. It's very much I just care about this particular team and this particular conference more so than everyone else does theirs. That's really all it is.
That's true. And also, I want to clear up a misconception about that. A lot of people do point out, the SEC roots for other teams no, they don't.
No, they absolutely don't. They have some of the fiercest rivalries.
No one has rooted for Alabama in a national title if they're an LSU fan.
Yeah.
Or if they're even like a Mississippi State. They're not rooting for Alabama. I do not want to see other SEC teams succeed.
Yeah.
I didn't root for Mississippi State when they were winning or playing for the College World Series a few years back. I don't want to see them succeed at all because, God damn it, it should be me who's having that success. However, when you are part of a conference that was undisputed in football and also very successful in basketball and baseball, but undisputed in football, the best conference in the country for 2 decades, it's a lot of fun to go. It's the SEC. It just means more we're better than you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily rooting for an individual team, just the SEC as a whole, how great it is. Now we have to deal with all these great teams. We're tougher because of it. With all that being said, just like in 1861, the SEC seceding from the NCAA would be unbelievably stupid unless they brought some friends along. They would essentially be cutting off a large market, a large media market, once you get Big Ten games in the College Football playoffs, once you get going up against a Pac-12 team in a bowl game or a Big 12 team, you're cutting that off. You would be going head-to-head, really, with the NCAA in the South as well. It's not like all the Southern schools are in the SEC. Mm-hmm. You would be dealing with Miami, Florida State, Clemson, all those schools in the ACC, still in the South. You're competing for market share there. You would need to get them to come along with you. But at the same time, the NCAA is a financial juggernaut. I understand that the SEC has a lot of money. So does the NCAA. I think it'd be unbelievably stupid and short-sighted, and it would then bring into question everything your conference does going forward. Oh, Alabama won the SEC national championship last year. Okay, well, they didn't have to play undefeated Ohio State, who won every game by 30. Is that really a national championship?
Yeah, I see what you mean. They won the SEC championship.
Yeah. Which great. Conference championships matter. They're fun. I love them, but you don't need that to be the championship that you care about.
Yeah, and it goes to show really that, especially it certainly wasn't true in the 2010s, but it is more true now after the Big Ten have won back-to-back. And obviously being the Penn State fan, I'm the one looking up to Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio State. But it's one of those things that here's the difference, right? Here's the difference between the SEC and the Big Ten. I am proud. I'm not proud that those schools won it because I don't want to see them win it, but I'm proud that my conference won it, where I don't think you get that same conference pride in the SEC, whereas it's not so much, I still hate the team, but also the SEC should win every national championship because the product is so good, because the teams are so good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of different viewpoint of, should we take this to the logical conclusion of we're just going to do this ourselves?
Yeah, I mean, I do think, honestly, the best case scenario for the SEC is the Big Ten goes, yeah, this is also kind of ridiculous. We have big name programs. We can probably agree with more in the SEC than the Pac-2, what's left of it.
Yeah. Or
the Big 12. We can agree with more. So we're going to join them and do a baseball thing pre 2000, where it's really 2 independent leagues that then their champions play each other. And that's how you determine the national championship. I think that's best case scenario, but I still think that's kind of stupid because it's still short-sighted.
Yeah.
Yes, the SEC has been dominant for 20 years. longer history, but recent 20 years.
Yeah.
The Big Ten has been dominant for 3 years, like winning national titles every year, things like that. College football has a 130-year history at this point, 150-year history. That is a very small amount of time to go, well, we've been dominant since 2005, so we should make our own conference. Okay, what about in another 20 years when the Pac-12 seemingly gets its crap together, which it might, the Big 12 has a resurgence, or the ACC starts playing well? It's so you're then going to be a joke in hat in hand, come back to the NCAA begging to be let back in.
Yeah. And then the financial penalties of doing so is going to be so severe that you guys aren't going to see any of the revenue that you thought you were going to see in the first place. So it's like it's a double whammy where you actually benefit long term more in the NCAA.
Yeah, and I think now there is kind of a side of it we're not looking at really, where the SEC and or the Big Ten can leave. In 20, 30 years, they're not as dominant as they once were. The rest of the NCAA is caught up. You have like a former AD or president of one of these SEC Southern universities become president of the NCAA, who may be sympathetic to your cause and kind of goes, hey, those punishments that the last guy said you had, no, don't worry about it. You just come on back in. That's kind of how they do it down there. So that might be how it works out. But sticking with SEC Media Days, Will Stein, Kentucky's new head coach, had tried to have his Curt Cignetti moment, who said that Kentucky's going to win big at home because of me, to be honest, because of me. And I tweeted from the Tailgate in the Quad Twitter, that quote card is going to go unbearably hard when they're 4-8 at the end of the
year. Yeah. It's going to be interesting because, I mean, there are only two scenarios, right? He either wins every game and loses to Georgia in the SEC championship, or that is ultimately a success, right? They get into the college football playoff 10 or 9 or 10 seed, whatever. Or you go 4-8, you go laughably hard, and you go, I thought I was Curt Cignetti. I am actually, I don't know, name a coach that fell.
Will Stein. I'm actually Will Stein. I mean, look, yeah, Curt Cignetti had success every step of the way.
Yeah.
Wherever he went, he won. So you can say, I win, Google me.
Yeah.
Will Stein has no head coaching experience.
Yep.
He's never won a national title as a coordinator. He was coordinator at Oregon, who famously has not won a national title for a few years there. So to say, I'm the reason we're suddenly going to win big and Kentucky football's back is laughable, and I can't wait until it just blows up in his face.
Yeah, it's really funny if you go to his Wikipedia page and it just says career statistics. Nothing.
Yeah,
as a coach, it's great. I can't wait to see that populate with just 0-1, like after week 1, just 0-1.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. But media days are going on. That's where these last couple things have come up. SEC Media Days, last note on that. Eli Drinkwitz of Mizzou said that the Big Ten has won the last 3 national titles because they don't play a non-conference A4 game. Ciarnan, do you care to offer a rebuttal to Eli's comments?
Yeah, Indiana just beat the shit out of Alabama last year, and like comfortably too. Like, not to say that Alabama team was like the best of the best, but they're still Alabama. They're still good, and Indiana looks like a Saban Alabama team. Like, that's how dominant they were. They made Alabama look like the teams that they played in the 2010s. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, I mean, I do think part of what he's saying also is, though, they can really coast through the regular season because they're not playing a strong out-of-conference schedule. And you could argue that the SEC did that for years, and you would be right, but also that means you can't flex that. If Alabama was playing a cupcake and that's why they won natties, then that's why Indiana won last year. That's why Ohio State won year before. That's why Michigan won 3 years ago now. It's just how it is. The easier a schedule is, the better you're going to look, the more favorable your seeding is going to be, and the further you will most likely be getting in the playoffs. I understand that Ohio State kind of went on a really good run because they lost late, but it's really, you don't have to kill yourself to win these non-conference games. You will be able to have rested starters once the playoffs start. It's just how it goes.
Yeah. And let's be honest here, right? The product of the top 5 or 6 teams in the Big Ten is actually very, very good. Like, despite Penn State's complete and utter lack of silverware under James Franklin, albeit the 2016 the Big Ten championship, they are a good team, right? And they can absolutely run with the likes of Ohio State, the likes of Michigan, and now the juggernaut that is Curt Cignetti's Indiana. But you also have to remember that despite their lack of scoring, Iowa is also a really good team, because if you put any of those SEC teams, say, I'm thinking just off the cuff, like if you put Auburn up against Iowa, I don't think they score more than 6 points, because like that's the kind of product that the Big Ten brings, right? Penn State played a home and home series a couple of years ago against Auburn, and we beat them both times. Now, were the games close? Absolutely, but we still beat them, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, you can't determine that just because of that's how the schedule suited this year, because we do have those games. So it's a silly comment to make.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I don't know. I get where he's coming from. I'm going to defend the SEC, and although I don't really like Eli Drinkwitz, I'm going to be honest, he annoys me. But moving on, though, Ciarnan, we're talking a lot about how great the SEC and the Big Ten is. ACC's got something to say. Pitt head coach Pat Narduzzi said the ACC is better than the Big Ten. It's got more skill. He said that for years, and he's going to stick to his guns. Yeah, maybe Clemson a decade ago was better than the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I'm going back. Pat, you went 11-2, beating Wake Forest in the ACC championship game in 2021. And then you lost to a Michigan team that also went 11-2 in the Big Ten, who did not win the Big Ten championship. So to say, and I know this is 5 years ago, it's ridiculous. The Big Ten is light years ahead of the ACC. And the ACC is a lot better than it was when it was just Clemson dominating everyone every week. But to argue that the ACC can hold a candle to what the Big Ten has been the last couple of years is insane.
Yeah, and it is ridiculous too, because the last time Clemson won a national championship was 2018, and before that, Florida State won the BCS national championship in 2013. So it's like, okay, so you have, well, Clemson won it twice technically, yeah, sure, but you've had 2 teams. One of which has tried to sue your own conference in order to leave it to make sure that they got a better. Now they completely capitulated and basically that went out the window. But the team that was doing so well tried to sue your conference to leave to go to the SEC. I think they were going to the SEC, right? Or
that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, that's what they wanted to do. So it's like, so the arguably your best team wanted to leave. Miami is absolutely in contention to leave the next time this whole realignment thing comes up, when the contracts run out and all this thing, because guess what? They view the SEC as that kind of that's where the competition is, right? You always want to play the SEC teams. So the ACC will be gutted if either Clemson, Florida State, or Miami leaves, and then your argument's completely moot.
Yeah, and Pitt's like one of those schools. Every couple of years they pop up. They have a pretty good team, but they don't have a run of success. Which a lot of teams in the ACC, don't. They have a contender every couple of years pop up, and then they go back down, and then someone. And you want to say that's parity or whatnot? Yeah, but it's not as much parity when one school gets really good and then everyone else just sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
But moving on to our last topic, really, Ciarnan, this might hit a little close to home for you. James Franklin at ACC Media Day was talking about how Virginia Tech is different. We're bigger, stronger, faster than we have been. There's no doubt about that. We've won the offseason. But then would go on to say, early in my career, we always had to do more with less. And then you get to a place like Virginia Tech, you got to understand how to do more with more. Ciarnan, I'm going to let you go first because I'm sure you have strong opinions.
You know what? I don't. And you know why? Because don't get me wrong, I still love James Franklin. He was a great coach. He couldn't win in the big games, but yes, that's all, that's whatever. I'll say this. You don't have more at Virginia Tech. I'm sorry. Even with the whole NIL kerfuffle that the Penn State wasn't spending, fine. You can argue that all you want. You had, arguably, one of the best defensive coordinators, a phenomenal offensive coordinator, a great special teams coordinator, and yet nothing happened. So if your goal is to do more with more, then you should have done it at Penn State when you had literally everything lined up, like you said you did, and then the whole season fell apart. So I will take that with a grain of salt, going, sure, you can say you have more here, but I would like to see what product you put on the field for the ACC. Now, if you go 11-2, 12-0, 12-1, whatever the final things make it, and you make it into the college football playoff, let's see how you do in there.
How upset are you going to be if he wins a national title in year one?
I'll end it all, Kev.
All right, so let's hope that doesn't happen. I don't feel like finding a new co-host. I'm sure your wife doesn't feel like finding a new husband. So let's just let's avoid Virginia Tech now. The ACC and the Cultural Playoff Committee, Ciarnan's life is in your hands. Yeah, I mean, you could make the argument. He said earlier in his career he had to do more with less. He was at Vanderbilt. That is the epitome of trying to do more with less. But then to specify Virginia Tech, like Penn State is just some minor program that doesn't have a lot of history. Like, oh yeah, coming from the group of 5 at Penn State, it's really tough. What are you talking about?
If you were at Rice University and you went on a run for like 5-6 years of plus say 700 on your win percentage, then yeah, you could absolutely said you did more with less.
Yeah,
but you went from Penn State up. I don't mean to sound crass, but a much more established program than Virginia Tech. Not to throw any shade on them, but like we have had recent success despite everything.
Yeah, so, Bill O'Brien did the hard part.
Yes,
of not letting Penn State go into the gutter. Yeah. Virginia Tech kind of is in the gutter now, but yeah, it's interesting. I'm very curious how he'll do at Virginia Tech. I think he'll be fine, but I don't see him lighting the world on fire.
Yeah.
But Ciarnan, that's really all our news from the media days going on recently. And it's time for, hopefully we don't forget one, the American Conference logos. Now, I included the Big East because this is the spiritual successor to the Big East. So I did want to include that logo on there, at least because, let's be honest, the American does not have many different logos. But Ciarnan, which one are you leaning towards?
So the two on the right look too much like Arizona's logo. So I'm going to exclude those. It's between the lettering underneath and then the original Big East. And I might be a sucker for nostalgia, but it's the Big East logo with the lettering and everything. It just looks so good.
I was also going to go Big East. I don't necessarily see Arizona as much, but top right, I hate gradients. We've been over this. They're awful. I say I'm a slut for sailor hats. I'm the opposite. I'm a prude for gradients. I hate them. I also don't like the lettering, the American Athletic Conference under the A logo. So for me, it's between the Big East and the A, and I just think the Big East. The Big East was awesome.
It really was.
But moving on to our first school, UAB. Ooh. And Ciarnan, I'm going to guess top right is your favorite.
Yeah. That's a good guess.
Like it's upgrade up, like from the first one, upgrade, a big upgrade, slight downgrade. I don't about
neutral,
yeah, and then just to shit with the UAB,
yeah,
just like with hiring Trent Dilfer. Who thought this was a good idea?
You had a great thing and you've ruined it.
Like I could understand if you want to go top right's a little too busy. It's a little too difficult to print, a little too difficult to put on the field. We're going to go to a little more simplistic bottom left. Why don't we just go with the dragon head? It's sick. It's fire. It's awesome. Let's keep that. I get the thought process there. I don't get going to UAB.
Yeah, it's such a downgrade. And it's so disappointing because, like, I get that you're trying to make it cheaper, but, like, it's going to be minimal over the span of the ridiculously overpriced jerseys and t-shirts that you're selling anyway. So just print a little extra flair and have a cool jersey for that 13-year-old kid that lives around the school and is like, oh yeah, I want to go to UAB, you know, whatever that may be. Probably don't actually want to go to UAB, but I digress.
Anyone who plays football or sports and did not grow up wanting to go to UAB, people who want to be a doctor might have.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, so I think keeping the dragons was awesome, and getting rid of them was maybe the biggest mistake we've seen.
Better or worse than hiring Trent Dilfer? Slightly better.
Slightly better. No, slightly worse.
Okay.
If the team sucked, you could at least look good doing it.
Great point. Great point.
Moving on to ECU. Ciarnan, where are you leaning?
You know, I bet your first initial reaction was the head, the full human head with the pirates underneath written out. It's not. It's the skull and crossbones.
I agree. I think that was great. I think top middle is terrifying, by the way.
Yeah, top middle is a real pirate. That was a photograph.
It's hyper realistic, and I hate it.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Top right's a little too cartoony for me.
Yeah, it takes away some of the menacing aspect of it.
Yeah, but bottom right, I think bottom right is awesome.
Yeah, the top left kind of looks like one of those old. I'm trying to think. You know the new Captain Morgan logo? Yeah, that's what that old logo is giving, just with more detail.
That's true. For its time, I think top left is also good. Like,
100%.
The oldest logo on here, I think it's a solid logo.
Oh yeah, it's very good.
But yeah, I think just the skull and crossbones is awesome. Moving on, FAU, and what the hell is that top left for?
It's a terrified Duolingo bird.
It really is. I hate it. I also don't love the crest. It's just the FAU is just jumbled up.
Yeah.
I like the inclusion of the gold. I think I got to go top right.
Yeah, the top right is nice. It's definitely a change of it's a smart change of pace from FAU. I would say preference would be the FAU with the Florida Atlantic banner underneath and the owl with the claws. I think that it's more dynamic.
That's fair. I do like that one. I think that bottom row is just taking away certain aspects of it are just clear downgrades.
Yeah, it's what society is right now. Jesus.
That's true. Like if you want to argue bottom left with FAU, Florida Atlantic with the bird is too much. Sure. I could see the argument going to the bird head with the FAU with the wings on the F and the U. Awesome. Getting rid of that and just keeping the bird terrible. Awful. Yeah. But Memphis, I almost said Mississippi for some reason. The Memphis Tigers, top left, Ciarnan, a little too photorealistic for me.
Yep.
Top middle, I love Calvin and Hobbes. That was my favorite cartoon growing up, or comic book growing up, like cartoon strips. Yep. Love Calvin and Hobbes. MSU in blue is just giving blue Mississippi State.
Yep.
I like the tiger jumping. I think that's a nice addition.
But it's all kind of weird. Like it's disproportionate.
Yeah. Yeah, I think going with the block M is the right choice. I don't know. I feel like going gray. But also the gray tiger's face is a little messed up. I can't tell why. It's just a little weird.
Huh. Yeah, maybe the eyes are too are kind of too big.
I think the eyes are too human-like, maybe.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. If it wasn't for the eyes, I'd be split between the colored and the gray. Like I wouldn't really care which one you gave me. I think I do think I like the kind of lighter blue on the bottom middle. The other one is a little too harsh, but again, you're splitting hairs really.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I do think the modern two are the best ones.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that the orange one was a little more detailed. I think the gray, even with the messed up eyes, the detail is still there. You can't really tell the face of the orange one.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
But I do like both of them. I think that's a tough pick. I'm probably going to go with Hobbs on the top middle, even though it's not threatening at all. It's negative aura, but just nostalgia.
It's cute and cuddly.
It's getting up to shit with its little boy. I'm going to stop talking.
Yep.
We're going to move on to the 49ers. And I was curious. The San Francisco 49ers are obviously named after the gold rush in 1849. Charlotte is nowhere near there. It's because after World War II, they added centers. So it was the University of North Carolina Charlotte Center for vets coming back from the war. And they were going to close the school. A lot of those centers were shut down in North Carolina. And there was one teacher in 1949. She really pushed hard, like, no, we should stay open. We need to stay open, blah, blah, blah. And that's why they are the 49ers.
Huh. Interesting. That's a cool fact.
I think the miter motif is still a little weird.
Yeah, certainly.
But at least there's a reason for 49ers, and they couldn't make it a math teacher in the 40s.
Makes sense, yeah.
But, Ken, what are your thoughts?
If I didn't know that it was supposed to be a pickaxe, I wouldn't understand why the modern C was that weird kind of shape. I don't think I would immediately pick that out. For me, I think I just like the simple 49ers, the actual numbers, with the pickaxe going overhead. The Charlotte, kind of the same font style, slightly different colorings, just a little bit longer and a little bit more difficult. The original two, they're fine. They're perfectly fine for the time that they were created. But for me, it's bottom middle.
I think going to color was the right choice.
Yes.
I think that's a very fun logo, to be honest with you. I think it's so fun. It's something that you don't really see a lot of. A prospector in North Carolina with the corncob pipe. It's awesome. Bottom left, I do like the arm with the pickaxe making the C in Charlotte. I think it's kind of weird. I understand you're keeping it for just as a logo, and it's still the Charlotte 49ers, so you want to keep the C. I think it's weird keeping it, though, with 49ers. I don't know. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I don't know how else they could have done it. And to be honest with you, I don't hate the modern logo. I do think it's still a little unique. You're not going to see a lot with that, but also it looks like an umbrella.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah, it does.
It really badly looks like an umbrella, but I think top right, just for being unique and fun, is going to be my pick with Charlotte.
Cool.
Moving on to North Texas. Ciarnan, I'm not going to guess. I'm just going to let you talk. Which one's your favorite?
Yeah, it's bottom left.
Okay.
Shocking. No, I've got to stop picking those ones because actually, in fairness to North Texas, really strong logos. The top right, a little too photorealistic, and it's almost a downgrade from the previous one, where I understand that it's a bird kind of flying. I guess how you describe this, it's flying through like a crest or something. But
I see bird swallowed dynamite and is in the middle of blowing up.
Is that TNT in the middle?
That's pretty much.
Yeah, I don't that for some reason I do like. And actually in fairness to them, the current logo, the kind of simpler monocolor that they're going for, is actually really nice. I do like the lettering and the font style. But I am still a sucker for those early 2000s, middle of the logos that
you're gonna love some of these ones. I
can imagine.
Top right to me, the Eagles Kelly green uniforms and the flying bird logo that goes with it. It's very photorealistic bird.
Yeah.
That head in the top right looks like a first attempt at that.
Yes, 100%.
We're the Eagles. What should we do? How about this? And it's just that, no, we're not doing all head. That looks weird. And I agree. I think bottom left is wild. Someone was on drugs making this, but I kind of love it.
Yeah, it's fire.
I like the 2 shades of green in it as well. I think it's a nice touch. Even though I said it's a bird blowing up, I think it's nice. The middle. I love the current logo.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's basic. It's easy to print onto a shirt or something, but it's still fun. It has a unique, specialized font on the lettering. The eagle itself looks cool. You don't really see eagles in logos kind of portrayed that way. I think it's a lot of fun. It takes the modern, more minimalist approach to logos, but still has fun with it.
Yeah, and it is kind of an homage to their original one, because you've got like the talons at the bottom and the flared wings, kind of out the, in a dive position, which it actually is really, really nice.
They did a really good job with all of these. I mean, we don't love the bird head in the top right, but it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, if there were no other logos on here, it'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah, it'd be all right. It wouldn't be our favorite by any means or anything, but it'd still look cool. Shout out North Texas. Rice. Top left is, I'm not singing it and I can't play it because it's a Disney cartoon and we would get just sued into oblivion. I think it's Disney, but there was an old TikTok sound that was going on like about a year or 2 ago where Cartman from South Park got abducted and was singing a song from like an old 40s cartoon. That's what that owl looks like. If you know what I'm talking about, it makes perfect sense. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you're going to be really confused by that.
Yeah.
But top middle, top right, look, just the head, the owl head just looks like Westfield State University in Massachusetts. So don't like that.
So, yeah, that hits a little far home because not many people will know that look.
No. Again, if you know what I'm talking about, you're like, yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
The R is every small school.
It's
logo.
No, you know what? We're gonna go back to our local universities. It's the University of Rhode Island. That's what that is.
I didn't want to make that comparison off the bat. It very much is URI. But also there's another one. Springfield? Is there Springfield College?
I don't know.
There's an S. It's maroon and S, and it's the same, like split down diagonally with red and gray.
Yeah.
Rice is not great. Karen, is the bottom middle your favorite?
Of course it is. Of course it is, Kev.
That's fair.
Because here's the thing that I'm loving about the logos, right? Is because it's detailed enough that it's like, okay, we have put thought and effort into this. We've tried to make it cool, symmetrical, color gradient, variant, things like that. And I appreciate what they were trying to do. And for me, it was the best culmination of artistic style and shading and all this sort of stuff that kind of culminates into one logo. And why they got rid of it, modernize it, fine, but why they ever got rid of it and just gone to the basic script and single letters and minimalist logos is beyond me. And to counter that point, that R is the same as the Delaware D, which is just a Detroit Tigers logo with script, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. I get a little more Louisville from the R. It might be because I see an L in it. But, same sort of Gothic font. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I do think, and this might be the first time, Ciarnan, where I'm saying it, that 2000s
Yeah.
action logo, I think, is the best one by far.
Nice. I finally won one.
Rice, it's not winning or losing, Ciarnan. It's just picking our favorites. Rice, weak logos. Awful. Except for that bottom middle one. That one is perfect. Moving on to USF. I forgot they used to go by the Golden Brahmins. I can't see that word without thinking of the Fallout game series. But, Ciarnan, which one is the best one?
The modern one. By a long shot, because they have all of the elements, right? They've got the trim, they've got the horns, and they've got the shape of the bull's face, all incorporated into a single letter that is extremely easy to understand. So it's got to be the modern one.
That's fair. I do like the top right, although I feel like it looks like a restaurant or a bank that tried to modernize in like 1998 with their logo.
Yes.
And then immediately it was dated 2 years later and they didn't change it until 2007.
I thought the same thing with the bank. It's very much like South Florida Bank. Like we're bullish on the market.
It's giving, we want people to associate us with Wall Street.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
No, we have never been to New York.
Yeah.
But also the bottom middle one just reminds you of Tyler Buckner starting at quarterback on a rainy day in Florida and it being awful. One of the top 5 worst experiences as an Alabama fan is a lacrosse midfielder starting at quarterback for your team because your offensive coordinator was also his offensive coordinator at Notre Dame and he hated Jalen Milroe. But with that being said, I do think the bottom middle is the best one, even though it gives me trauma. All right. This is the one I was thinking of, Ciarnan, by the way, when I said you're going to like some of these coming up.
Yeah.
I think top left is interesting.
Yes, certainly.
Although the owl looks high as shit.
Yep.
Top right is way too detailed to have zero detail in the face.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true. I don't even know what I'm looking at the head.
I couldn't tell you.
I literally have to zoom in here. Like
the head shape.
Cross?
I can't tell. The head shape is also kind of giving cartoon sheep with like the ears like that, and I don't like it. Okay, I'm gonna let you take it away though with the bottom 2 ones because this is your bread and butter.
Yeah, it is my bread and butter. I would say it is an unfortunate circumstance that the bottom middle wasn't the logo that they went with because again, action of the kind of the owl kind of diving in with the what would you call those like marks to symbolize movement? Streaks, sure, yeah, streaks. Like the streaks coming off of the bird to show movement just makes it so much better than their next attempt where they just kept the head. They kind of changed the coloring of the letters and whatnot, but other than that, like it's got to be bottom left for me.
That's true. Those are called motion lines, by the way.
Motion lines. That seems so simple.
Yeah. They're also called speed lines or action lines, but
yeah,
it's
right, fine. You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yes. Oh no, we're here to educate here.
Yes,
that's a terrifying thought. I do agree with you. I think bottom left is awesome. I think bottom middle could be a nice alternate.
Yeah, certainly.
I think those 2 logos you could do a lot with. And look, if you don't want to print the whole owl or any of the owl, you go with the Temple Owl's word mark.
Yeah. The thing that's bugging me is like if the current logo, which is just the T kind of, think of an Ionic column at a Greek building. That's what we're looking at if you're only listening on the podcast. The T is fine. It's perfectly acceptable if you didn't have a football team. And I'm not saying the Temple Owls are particularly good, but what it is giving MIT I'm smart sort of energy, and Temple is not. Fuck those guys.
Yeah. I will say that logo they did use in the 80s and 90s, and they brought it back. But yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it's not.
If they wanted to go, we use this in the 80s and 90s. We're going to use it as an alternate on a throwback, whatever. Sure, I think it's good enough for that. I don't think it's good enough to be your main logo.
No.
I think they should have modernized the owl flying through the air with the motion lines, or you go with the Temple Owl's word mark. Maybe you tweak it a little bit, probably don't. And then you use the owl as sort of a mascot logo that you kind of throw on stuff like t-shirts and things like that. Huge downgrade. I still can't get over. Did you ever see the Watchmen movies either?
No.
By Zack Snyder. They're also comics, so I'm not just ignoring the comics, but it's very much giving Owlman how his helmet looks, and I understand the owls. That's why it comes from. Like, I can't look at the top left without seeing that.
There's so many niche references in this podcast, in this episode.
And just in this podcast in general.
No, but like this episode in particular, we've got like, what was it? Westfield, URI,
Springfield College,
Calvin and Hobbes,
Disney,
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, if you don't care about pop culture or small New England colleges,
this is all lost on you.
Why are you listening to a college football podcast? Jeez.
For the culture, Kev.
Speaking of culture, Meep University. I don't love the top right. I hate it, actually.
Yeah, it's too cartoony. And why is it in a basketball jersey? Like,
so when looking up logo histories, I saw some that just basically said, nope, they've basically only had the bird head with the word mark and the bird head. I saw some that said they've had all four. I've seen some that said they had random ones that nowhere else could corroborate. So I just kind of went with best effort here to find one.
Oh, fair enough.
So that could not be a real logo.
Okay.
Or an official logo.
I will say this. The original one that's just all blue would do well with a bit of orange in it.
That's true.
If you could detail the orange into that and make it look like it's in motion and things like that. I mean, it kind of is, but like more so, it would be really good logo. I will say I'm kind of torn between the bottom two because I am a sucker for banners, especially like Roadrunners, things like that. I actually don't hate the upgrade to just the head.
I think it was the right choice.
Yeah.
I do agree. I think, keep that UTSA Roadrunners as a word mark on its own.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, I do think just the head is the right choice. Top left, it looks very dated.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of these logos are, but I do think I think it'd be cool for a throwback or something, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think I hate top right though. I feel bad for putting it on there. Moving on to Tulane, the great podcasting with that pause there. Tulane, in my opinion, might have the strongest logos we've seen.
Yes, agreed. Even the top right with just the kind of wave cresting look across the T is still somehow fantastic. I know it's simple, but it very much conveys the green wave.
You don't see it. You don't see stuff like that either.
Yeah.
Which is huge. But the Pelican surfing, you have the angry green wave, both versions. You have the wave overtaking the T and you have the Pelican diving into the water.
Yeah.
Strong across the board. I don't know how I would pick which one's my favorite, but I think it's the surfing Pelican.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the surfing Pelican, and an extremely close second. I actually think the really dark T with the lighter green wave cresting over it is also a very strong logo.
That's fair. I don't love that one as much.
Really?
Yeah, but I do think it's really hard to compare these logos because I think if we're going to rank, hey, we're going to go through every single logo in the American, 1 through 6 would be Tulane logos.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
I also like how they crisped up the lines a little bit, made the drawing a little cleaner overall, and made the green darker, but didn't change really much of the form of the old logo with their
which is exactly what we mean by modernizing it.
Yes,
because it's just enough. It hints at the past. It's got its own little kind of modern touch-ups and things like that, and it's perfect.
Yep. Awesome. 10 out of 10, no notes. Tulane, keep it going. Tulsa. They've had that flag thing just with some minor color tweaks for a while now, so I just kind of went with the modern one. Top left is like an 80s Ford truck badge.
100% see that. Yeah. I'll be honest. I don't hate either of these logos.
I don't either, but I like the Ford 80s truck badge the most.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I think at this point in time, it would be an actual disservice if they didn't keep the cursive Tulsa. If they if they updated their logo and they went with like block lettering, it would look terrible.
Hot take, Ciarnan, and I am a big advocate for not just minimalizing everything.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with just the cursive.
Really? Okay.
I think it'd be clean. I think it'd be nice.
Okay.
Maybe do the cursive, do that red, yellow, and white sort of outline on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be nice. I think it'd look cool.
All right.
Maybe not as the main logo, but I think as an alternate, I think it'd look real nice. Also, going with the darker blue was the right choice between the faded blue in the top left.
So I agree with you, but they couldn't use that blue with the yellow, white, and red background.
No.
It would be too dark.
Agreed. All right. Army.
Oh, yeah.
And these are just Army and Navy are in the Patriot League, but for football, they are associate members of the American, which is why we're talking about them here. The top right and bottom left, there were some variations of that, but really just minor color changes. So that's why they are the way they are. Ciarnan, I'm going to let you go first because I don't know which way you're going on this one.
Yeah, and you would be right because I'm going to throw a little curveball here. The modern one is the best.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Now, yeah, I know. Shocking. However, I will say this. The Army Black Knights with the full word mark it's too disproportionate. Like the horse's neck is too long, the guy's arm is kind of weirdly positioned, it's kind of elongated, whereas the soldier over the A with the cape seems to be a little bit more
it's more contained. It's better.
More contained. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. And it's really nice. Don't get me wrong, but the modern one with the Spartan helmet and the sword is the best one.
I think the modern one is the right balance of minimalist while also looking cool.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of places would either just go with the helmet or just go with the shield. I think having all those elements looks really nice. But also, I think top left, it's clearly an older one. But you can see the influence on the current logo from that. I think that looks really clean. I think it looks if I showed you that without any of the words on the banners, you'd go, oh, that's an Army logo.
Yes, 100%.
Also, the mule is just awesome.
Yeah, it is.
But all right, Navy. I have a huge complaint about Navy's current logo.
Okay. Go on.
It's that star.
Why?
So, all right, we're going to go back to Army. You know what you said the top right is less contained than the bottom left? So that's why you don't like that star makes it so annoying to use that logo on graphics. It's just floating out there. It's just floating away.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Okay. I see your point. I am going... This is interesting. I'm actually going to go with the original. The crest, the coat of arms, the trident. I think that looks the best.
Agreed. Same thing though with the First Army one, you take away the words, you can tell that's the Navy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, Ciarnan, there's a star on the top right. I don't know what the hell's going on with top right, by the way. That's just like children's cartoon. I hate it. Top right is 1 star. Bottom right is 1 star. The very photorealistic goat in the bottom left has 2 stars. Why?
Good question. I don't know.
I do like the bottom left, by the way.
It's nice.
It's neat.
It's neat. But I don't think I would have it as my logo. The photorealistic stuff doesn't do it for me.
I think if it was once in a while, we think, oh, that's cool. Every school has a photorealistic logo at some point in their history, and it's not great once you see all of them, but I do think the goat's cool. And now, Ciarnan, our last stop in the American. They are not a football member, but they are a full-fledged member of the American Conference, so we are going to talk about the Wichita State Shockers. I don't know.
Right.
What?
It's bottom right.
I do think it's bottom right.
Yeah.
It's bottom right.
Yeah.
Top left is creepy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that one.
Top left is looking like he's going to catcall you and then get pissed off and bang his scythe against a trash can because you get top right looks like, I can't even say what it looks like they're going to do, but they're terrifying. I do like how they kind of made from bottom left to bottom right. They made it a little bit more cartoonish.
Yes.
The wheat kind of sticking out of it is a little, not photorealistic, but a little detailed. I do kind of like how they made it a little more cartoonish. They darkened the yellow up. They took away some of the detail, and I think before it was a little too detailed. They found a happy medium there, and I think bottom right is really strong.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, and that's it for the American. And Ciarnan, I had which one we had to do left. I think we have Mountain West to do left.
Yep, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
And then, Ciarnan, after we do the Mountain West, we'll be into August.
Oh, boy.
And that's the month. That's the month that it happens, Ciarnan.
Yeah, I know. It's right around the corner. It's going to be here before we realize it.
I can't wait. So, yeah, follow along. Follow at Quad Tailgate wherever you get your news. We're going to be pumping out content this year, Ciarnan. I've decided. We're putting out more content than we did last year.
Yes, just flood people's For You page or whatever with content.
Which is annoying because I feel like we did a lot of content last year, but we're going to do even more this year.
We're going to be so annoying.
All right, so here's how I've viewed marketing this podcast and how I want to market it. Ciarnan, you don't have a TikTok, but anyone who does, if you ever come across a small like indie artist who has one song that they really want to push and you go to that sound on TikTok, they have 1,000 videos and 997 of them are that artist. That's how we want to advertise this podcast. We want everyone, the minute they open their phone, tailgate in the quad.
Bingo.
We're either going to blow up or we're going to get blocked by everyone and lose all our followers.
There's only 2 options.
Yeah, but also follow Belly Up Sports for other sports news if you get sick of college football. If you want to support Belly Up Sports, go to bellyupsports.com, click on the merch tab, buy some shirts, and get a Belly Up Sports shirt. We have hats, we have a sweatshirt, and we have a racing shirt. No Tailgate in the Quad merch yet. Not sure where that's going to happen. Ciarnan, before we go, like I said, it's almost August. Do you want to try to get any guests this year? If you could pick one guest, who do you want?
I want James Franklin in the 3rd week of November.
His season will have gone to shit by then. I don't think we'll get him, but we'll try. We'll reach out. We'll try. If not, we'll try to get him in the offseason. I want former Bowling Green long snapper George Carlson.
Oh, yeah. We were discussing this, yeah.
He is Pudge's dad, and I need him on the show. So maybe we'll try to get him on, Ciarnan. Who knows? Maybe we'll try to get him on for a Maction live stream we're going to be doing this year. So keep an eye out for that once Maction rolls back around. Everyone have a good, safe, fun rest of your week and make good choices. We're almost there.
See ya.
They're eating the dogs, Ciarnan, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the dogs.
You know that?
They were eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years will just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to the school. Recruits are going to see this.
You have, as some fans have put it, a mascot flashing their pop tussie out.
Oh, God, that's going to be part of our intro next year. Oh,